Terrible, dangerous, ghost, horror!
Hello honeys, today we're talking all about LoLi GoThiC. From its real life inspirations to coords you probably never even heard of, I found everything there is to know. There will be minor spoilers for Aikatsu, so if that's okay with you, let's get started.
新顔が来たようだね。
Pursuing an entirely ancient Gothic image, stealing into fashion an elegant, inscrutable, bewitching radiance, as if emerged from a medieval European castle. This is the concept statement of Mana's brand Wait, that's not it. Hold on, we want Maya's brand, let's see. Okay, here it is. Goth and Lolita, the theme of LoLi GoThiC. Mysterious and charming, this brand combines the style of traditional Goth LoLi styles with the styles of medieval Europe and the Victorian era. Equipped with rose and cross motifs, dark colors, and frills and lace with bat wings, this brand is brimming with darkness that will bring out the mysterious charm in you. The inspirations for LoLi GoThiC are very straightforward: Goth and Lolita fashion, plus a couple of other things. Because of the historical elements of these designs, it can be easy to get lost in all the details and context. Let's start with Goth, because that explains why we have both medieval Europe and the Victorian era going on here. The medieval part is from Gothic architecture, which started in medieval Europe. Think spiky old cathedrals with stained glass windows. The Victorian part is from when people in the Victorian era, around 1840, wanted to bring back Gothic architecture. Think spiky old houses with lots of fine details. The people in the 19th century who liked Gothic architecture also liked other medieval things, and a whole Gothic subculture was born. Think Dracula, that was a Victorian book based on medieval vampire stories. Today, Goth is still associated with Victorian fashion, especially its customs around mourning the dead. That's why in LoLi GoThiC we have so many dark colors, bats, spiders, and other creepy motifs. The style is essentially about being in a constant state of mourning. We've covered Lolita fashion in my Angel Sugar deep dive, so here's a quick overview. Lolita fashion is an umbrella style of Japanese fashion that is inspired by Victorian and Rococo era clothing. It has many substyles, including sweet, classic, and Gothic, to name a few. Lolita fashion has strict rules about the silhouette and component pieces that make up an outfit, also called a coordinate or chord. The fictional brand, LoLi GoThiC, is specifically based on real-life Gothic Lolita brands. Its most obvious source of inspiration is in the most iconic figure of the Japanese goth subculture, Mana. Mana is a musician and designer who popularized Gothic Lolita fashion through his own personal fashion and his role in founding the magazine Gothic and Lolita Bible in 2001. He is most known for his androgynous style, long musical career, and his Gothic fashion label, Moi Moitié. The official slogan for Moi Moitié is Elegant Gothic Lolita Aristocrat Vampire Romance, and its main colors are black, white, and a specific shade of blue. Blue roses are a common symbol, which is why we see so many roses in LoLi GoThiC. Moi Moitié, like other Lolita fashion brands, also produces masculine pieces that it labels as Elegant Gothic Aristocrat. Mana himself does not believe in assigning genders to clothing, and we see a lot more masculine pieces in LoLi GoThiC as a result. Other Gothic Lolita brands that probably served as inspiration include Alice and the Pirates, Mille Fleurs, Atelier Beaux, Atelier Pierrot, Peace Now, Marble, and Victorian Maiden. These and more were featured in magazines like Kara and Gothic and Lolita Bible. You may also be interested in styles like Ouji, goth rock, and other goth styles. I'll put some helpful videos on those in the description if you're interested. I was able to find a rare interview with Hashimoto Kayako, the real-life top designer of Aikatsu, where she says, "I made LoLi GoThiC because I wanted to include at least one Gothic Lolita brand. It became popular among adults about 10 years ago, and culture was born from that. Gradually, it began to be adopted as children's clothing, and I think it has now become one of the design tastes that children love. However, since it's a cool type, it doesn't have a Lolita impression, and it has a slightly punk feel to it." Punk fashion has roots in the British punk subculture from the 1970s. The chains, studs, plaid prints, and distressed fabrics we see in LoLi GoThiC are all punk inspired. What Kayako didn't mention is that the brand was also inspired by Disney princesses, starting with Sumire's introduction to the cast. Although to be fair, this interview was for the Aikatsu movie, so it was too early for her to mention that shift anyway. I talk more about how this happened in my Dreamy Crown deep dive, but all you really need to know is that Frozen became a mega hit in Japan in 2014, and Aikatsu incorporated Disney as a design inspiration for many coords. That's why there's a noticeable difference between the Eureka era of LoLi GoThiC and the Sumire era. Coords got more colorful, and the bell-shaped Lolita fashion silhouette was used a lot less. The Victorian inspiration also got reduced in favor of more modern punk elements. We'll get into this transition more later in the video. LoLi GoThiC, the fictional brand, is essentially performance art. It revolves around the narratives and world building of its top designer, Yumekouji Maya, who has a vampire persona. He's turned the brand's headquarters, a Western-style mansion, into a functional haunted house. He hires part-time actors to work in the haunted house, although those actors often break character. It's stated in the anime that Maya does this to test the courage of idols who have come to meet with him. But since he also put on the haunted house performance for Johnny, who was just delivering a gift, we can assume that Maya just enjoys scaring guests. The brand has no other known staff members. Pop quiz: who is LoLi GoThic's mascot? If you said Alan, the bat, you are wrong. Alan is Maya's pet. LoLi GoThic's mascot is actually a character who has never appeared in the anime or the game, Gothic Bunny. Gothic Bunny was only used once in merchandise as far as I can find, in a short-lived marketing campaign that also introduced Dreamy Puppy, the Dreamy Crow mascot. The brand's representative idols are Todo Eureka, who has her own vampire character that fits into Maya's world building, and Hikami Sumire, a singer who is passionate about the brand. LoLi GoThiC has fans of all ages and genders, as we see from the line for one of its events. This matches what we understand about the real-life fashions it's inspired by as well. The official Aikatsu guidebook describes Maya as a mysterious gentleman who has an atelier in a dimly lit Western-style building. He has a unique worldview, is difficult to get along with, and carefully selects who he gives his premium wear dress to. On the other hand, he is empathetic toward people he cares for. It also states that he seems to have lived for over 300 years. As I mentioned before, Maya is heavily inspired by real-life designer Mana, who also owns a Gothic Lolita fashion brand. The vampire character is likely inspired by Mana's previous bandmate, Gact, who also had a vampire persona early in his career. Maya also gets his androgynous appearance from Mana. The reason Maya claims to be over 300 years old is because that places his birthday in the late Baroque or early Rococo period, which suits his flamboyant and dramatic style. As far as canon events go, we first see Maya attending Asuka's designer party when Madoka was around 5. We don't know how old the brand is or how it was founded, but it's likely at least 10 years old since Gothic Lolita fashion became popular in the 2000s and the series began in 2012. Maya sponsored the Rock Festival when Eureka was a first year, which she won the audition for. We don't know if Maya personally selected the winner, but he did accept a premium year consultation request from Starlight Academy made on Eureka's behalf after the audition. Headmistress Sarihime tells Johnny that Maya tests idols' feelings toward LoLi GoThiC, as well as their strong resolution to becoming idols. He will only meet those who pass those trials. This implies that Maya set up the haunted house specifically for Eureka, but we already know that he does that for random visitors too. It's more likely that he talked with Arihime about Eureka and found out that an article had been written about her non-vampiric identity. He then probably customized the experience to test her specifically. When Eureka and her friends arrive, he watches them progress through the mansion via security cameras. When Eureka finds him, he tells her that she's the first to make it to him, but this is clearly just part of the haunted house script. He is pleased when Eureka commits to her performance as well and shows her the Goth Magic premium dress. Maya says, "The dresses I make suit only strong girls, those who are resolute, dignified, and always looking straight ahead. I won't let a girl who loses her wits just from a picture like this wear my dresses," and is surprised when Eureka takes the article from him and throws it into the fire. This reveals her genuine passion for her idol career and her vampire character, which matches his own passions. He responds to her by saying, "Designers put their heart and souls into making their clothes. Therefore, all of them share a wish for those clothes to be worn by someone worthy." Maya isn't evaluating Eureka's talent here, he's evaluating her potential. He puts pressure on her to see if she'll crack, but when she still stands firm despite admitting she hasn't reached his standards, he is pleased with her dedication. He says, "I like girls who show effort, like you. This dress will surely suit you." Maya understands that Eureka's haughty attitude is an expression of her desire for strength, and he encourages her warmly when she reacts with arrogance rather than gratitude, because he can see that gratitude underneath her acting. It's very similar to his own performance style. When Eureka performs at the Rock Festival with Goth Magic, Maya attends and is pleased. We don't see a lot of Maya after this. He attended the World Trend Conference to choose the animal theme, but did not participate in the theme himself. He then allowed Eureka to use his mansion for a commercial shoot after she pitched the concept to him. Eureka said that his only feedback was, "I won't forgive you if your commercial doesn't blow me away." After the commercial is finished, Maya allows Eureka to come to him for advice, and encourages her without interfering in her business. He says, "I don't know exactly what your fans said to you, but they've said that I, Yumekouji Maya, swallow whole baths and use magic to design my dresses, among other things. Aren't they horrible?" He seems to expect Eureka to be troubled by criticism which he seems to have received in the past for his dark image. He is surprised when she laughs and subverts his expectations. It's interesting to note that even though this is brushed over quickly, Maya does seem bothered by the negative rumors surrounding him and his work. After all, he's mostly just trying to have fun and express himself creatively. Maya remembers how affected Eureka was by her past scandal and appreciates her growth since then. He offers her his first Constellation premium dress, Nightmare Capricorn, as well as an opportunity to help produce its announcement event since she did so well at producing her previous commercial shoot. In the time since they first met, Eureka and Maya have become much more open with each other emotionally, no longer needing to commit to their characters as much when talking to each other. Because they're both usually so stoic, the simple act of them smiling at each other shows how comfortable they are as creative partners. The next few appearances for Maya and LoLi GoThiC are very minor. He attends the Starlight Academy Middle School yearly recital, where he would have first seen Sumire. Maya participated in the United Designer Conference to choose romance story as that year's theme. He then contributed the vampire chord to Starlight Academy's Nightmare Party prize pool. Soon after this, Maya texts Eureka to offer her the Snow Princess chord as well as ask her for her feedback on it. Eureka tells him that she'll be bringing Sumire to their meeting and that she'd like him to consider her underclassmen for the chord instead. Apparently, Maya has a sweet tooth according to Eureka. She tells Sumire, "Those fit to wear his premium dresses are those who love, understand, and can become an inhabitant of his world. That's what I believe." At this point, Eureka has become an unofficial muse for the brand, as she is very involved in its behind-the-scenes operations. Maya allows Eureka to help evaluate Sumire during the haunted house experience, where she does more production work for him. With this support, Maya approves of Sumire because of her excitement for his brand and commitment to matching Eureka's passion. He gives Sumire the Snow Princess cord at Eureka's request. Maya later sends Sumire the Growth Dorothy cord as a gift with a note reading, "I gift you this dress that I've tailored to your style. It's a masterpiece befitting the name LoLi GoThiC. I'm certain you'll find it to your liking." This is a lot less personal than his previous appearances, but he is obviously still keeping an eye on Sumire's career and her progress toward her goals. After watching an interview where Sumire declared her intention to become the Starlight Queen, Maya invited her to meet with him. He tells her, "I was drawn by your intense will to ascend to the peak of idolhood solely through song. You were like a rosy queen. If the path you tread is thorny, then it means there must still remain thorns of fear deep within your heart. I wish to turn your strength of will to progress nevertheless into a dress." This is Maya's final appearance and allows us to draw a few more conclusions. Maya sees Eureka as a kindred spirit and protege. They share interests and have a lot of overlap in their personalities that allows them to be comfortable around each other. Even when Sumire becomes a main character, Eureka is still shown to be closest to Maya. To him, Sumire is an ambitious person whose effort he can appreciate. He seems to understand that her path is difficult and is willing to support her as long as she's taking on significant challenges. Despite being a main brand for the entire original series, LoLi GoThiC only had 56 coords. For comparison, Dreamy Crown had 53. 26 of the original 56 coords were shown in the anime, which you can see in my LoLi GoThiC ranking video. Aikatsu on Parade added 2 more coords, Deep Night Cross and Brilliant Night Cross. While I won't be listing every LoLi GoThiC coord in this video, I will show you the most important ones. You can find a full list of coords in the Aikatsu and all Aikatsu wikis linked in the description. LoLi GoThic's official constellation is Capricorn. Its main dream story is The Wizard of Oz, and also has coords under Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Arabian Nights, Peter Pan, and Town Musicians of Bremen. Its main romance story is Snow White, and also has coords under Swan Lake, Cinderella, The Nutcracker, and The Little Mermaid. Its premium rares are Goth Magic, Nightmare Capricorn, Snow Princess, Growth Dorothy, and Blue Empress. LoLi GoThic's fever coords are Dramatic Green, Vampire Blood, Black Romance, Gothic Star, Blue Rosie, Sapphire Chandelier, and Blue Empress. And finally, its boom coords are Sapphire Chandelier for jewelry, and Black Santa for party deco. A lot of people are interested in the transition from Eureka's era to Sumire's era since there is a noticeable shift in the brand's style. We already talked about how the more historical elements were reduced in favor of more modern Disney and punk inspirations, so let's revisit the premium rares to see how that happened. Goth Magic is the most dramatic silhouette we ever see from LoLi GoThiC. The mini top hat was a classic Gothic Lolita accessory, the bodice has recognizably Victorian structure, and the blue rose print is a direct homage to Moi Moitié. The Batwing motif even drives home the vampire theme. It clearly establishes the Gothic Lolita inspiration for the brand. With Nightmare Capricorn, the blue roses are still present in the wings. Orange is brought in to represent Garnet, Capricorn's birthstone. In the West, we associate Garnet with the color red, but there are more orange tone Garnet stones that may have been referenced, or it was a mistake. Either way, this design has a softer appearance because it has brighter colors and feathered wings. It's still a Gothic design, just lighter on the Victorian inspiration. Snow Princess only really retains the Lolita fashion silhouette, and is heavily medieval rather than Victorian. This is the Disney influence we talked about. The crosses are a nod to the original Gothic cathedrals, but the color scheme and intricate details are more energetic and organic than we would expect. The apples obviously relate to the Snow White story, but the heavy emphasis on jewel embellishments and tapestry motifs leans hard into the princess concept. Growth Dorothy goes back to the Gothic Lolita fashion inspiration, but it's not relying on historical elements. The cut of the pieces is very experimental and modern, and the goggles are our biggest hint that this design is more steampunk inspired than Victorian. It still has the dark colors and corset style bodice, and does fit into Gothic Lolita fashion, but it's the most fantastical design we've seen from LoLi GoThiC so far. By the time we get to Blue Empress, the historical elements and obvious Gothic Lolita references are almost unrecognizable. There are a lot of punk elements here instead, the torn plaid skirt and plenty of leather straps, chains, and zippers being the biggest ones. Notice how the bodice looks a lot more like a leather jacket too. This design crosses more into the punk Lolita sub-style, but it does still have the spider webs, crosses, bat wings, and roses that keep it somewhat Gothic. None of these designs are totally out of line with LoLi GoThiC as a brand. The punk and medieval themes were both here from the beginning, and they just became more prominent as trends changed to favor them. Gothic Lolita fashion was at its peak when the show was first airing, but it gradually became less popular as the show went on. The brand changed to accommodate those real-life trends. Whether you enjoy the early coords or the later ones is all just a matter of preference. If you love LoLi GoThiC, make sure to check out my LoLi GoThiC ranking next, and look out for my Dance Fusion ranking in a couple of weeks. Bye bye!
You are my treasure! You are shining star!